Oh my goodness, folks. I don't know what to tell you, man. I really don't know what to tell you. Monday Night Raw was absolutely fucking terrible. Outside of Sheamus versus Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley winning the WWE Championship, becoming the new WWE Champion. Now, all of a sudden, we have Charlotte Flair focusing her attention on the Raw Women's Championship. I don't know why. I mean, who asked for this? Why are we getting Charlotte Flair versus Asuka for the Raw Women's Championship at WrestleMania 37? Because that is exactly the direction WWE is going. Why did we get Naomi versus Nia Jax? What is all this about? And then we got Retribution versus Matt Riddle and Lucha House Party. And then we get Matt Riddle versus Ali. Man, this show sucks. I got your Monday Night Raw results. We're going to go over it all right here on my Ingram Wrestling News YouTube channel. Somebody please get me a fucking goddamn ladder or something, because I feel like throwing it at the TV right now. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Ingram Wrestling News' very own Brendan Ingram here, live with your March the 1st, 2021 Monday Night Raw review. I really hate that I'm doing this review, but I'm only doing it for people who didn't watch Monday Night Raw last night. Those of you that didn't watch Monday Night Raw last night, I don't blame you. This show was catastrophic. It was fucking miserable. It was fucking trash. And it was. Like it always is every week. The shows are terrible because of the lack of inappropriate writing and producing from Bruce Prichard and Vince McMahon. That's why the shows are fucking terrible. It's because the way they are fucking written. The way they are written, the way the matches are being booked, is why the shows suck. Oh, not to mention it's because of Vince and Bruce. So anyways, folks, before we get started with the Raw review, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell for notifications. Also, you can follow me on Twitter at Ingram Wrestling. Oh, speaking of Twitter, folks, I officially have a new Twitter header, so be sure you go to my Twitter account and go check it out, and go leave me your thoughts and comments in the section below on what you think of my new Twitter header. I'm going to be posting a screenshot of my new YouTube channel art banner. Yes, I've also made me a brand new IWN YouTube channel art banner. My very own IWN YouTube channel art banner, man. And I gotta tell you, it looks great. It looks absolutely great. Some of you may say it looked tacky, but I think it looks great. I think it looks perfect. I think it looks phenomenal. I think it looks fantastic. I think it's one of my greatest Ingram Wrestling News YouTube wrestling gaming channel art banners ever. I never thought it's way better than the first. It's way better than my first YouTube channel art banner that I had. That's all I'm gonna say to that. Kudos to me, credit to me for doing my own fucking YouTube channel art banner. Best in the IWC when it comes to thumbnails, man. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care if anybody says that I'm not. I think I truly am when it comes to thumbnails. Anyhow, we're going to go ahead and get to the Raw review, folks. Also, follow me on Twitch if you haven't done so. And again, follow me on Twitter, Ingram Wrestling, for the latest WWE and AEW news. Follow me on Twitter for my Ingram Wrestling News videos that get posted, that get tweeted out on there. Also, my games that I stream, they get tweeted out. So, like, once I go live on my games that I stream on YouTube, they get tweeted out, they get shared on Twitter once it goes live. It gets shared to Twitter, it can get shared to Facebook, it can get shared to any social media platform, basically, almost. So, anyways, let's get started here. So tonight's Raw opens up with a look back at last week's Raw, which I didn't watch because it fucking sucked so bad that I picked up the remote and changed the channel immediately. So tonight's Raw looks back at the last week's Raw where Bobby Lashley threatened The Miz and earned a title shot. So we go live into Monday Night Raw Trash Thunderdome. And the former WWE Champion, the Scottish Psychopath, Drew McIntyre, making his return to the show and coming to the ring. Man, I still feel bad for him after losing his title to The Miz. I still feel bad for Drew McIntyre to this day. But I'm sure someday he'll get the WWE Championship back sooner rather than later, I'm sure. I mean, we are going to be seeing Lesnar versus Drew McIntyre versus Lashley possibly at WrestleMania, right? Or actually, Lashley versus Lesnar for WrestleMania, right? But anyways, McIntyre says, it's been a bitch of a month. You ain't lying. It's been a terrible year watching this fucking god-awful product. I tell you that much. It's a very, very terrible start to a year watching a god-awful product such as this. Such as Monday Night Raw. So Sheamus, his friends of 20 years, stabbed him in the back. And he doesn't know why. Probably because over a WWE Championship. Probably. Probably something he didn't even earn. Something Sheamus probably didn't even earn or probably didn't deserve. But they're going to beat the hell out of each other very soon. 2 weeks ago, he stepped inside the Elimination Chamber against 5 other men and defended his WWE Championship. And he got attacked by Bobby Lashley, the CEO of the Hurt Business. He got his ass beat, and The Miz cashed in the Money in the Bank briefcase, and now he's champion. Who cares? I'm going to be even more happy at the end. I'm going to be even more excited at the end of my review. You'll find out why. McIntyre stares at the WrestleMania sign and says it's fine because he knows his mission, regain his WWE Championship, and main event WrestleMania. He says he didn't beat Brock Lesnar at the show last year, defend his title time and again, and carry WWE on his back for a year, only to get screwed at the finish line. Not a chance. The Miz and John Morrison came out wearing suits. And Miz makes the announcers introduce him to the champion before mountains of Pryo go off. Miz says that's more like it, and he couldn't help but hear all of Drew's complaining. He admires how much class Drew has shown him. Or shown. For a former champion, he says it was unbeatable that he would become champion again. Drew tells him to get into the ring and he can congratulate him, but Miz declines. Miz asks why Drew is upset with him. Morrison asked Drew if he'd be upset flying in the sky, and Miz says of course not. So why be angry that the Money in the Bank winner cashed in? Miz says The only person Drew should be mad at is Bobby Lashley. Now, first of all, why would John Morrison ask him a question, a stupid old fucking retarded kind of question like that? Bruce, this has to be the writing of Bruce. This has to be Bruce Pritchard writing Raw. It's the only one that's writing it. That's the only person that's writing Raw. Fucking terrible at his writing, man. He is so terrible. Drew says he isn't stupid. He won't fall for Miz's mind game. So if Miz can somehow get through tonight, he'll worry about him then. Miz says he didn't want to make a deal with Lashley, but Bobby threatened his family, so he had to. Miz continues that Lashley is getting a title shot when McIntyre is more deserving. So the three of them should work together. MVP comes out with a cane and stands on the stage. MVP asks if this is the beginning of a new business relationship or the pathetic ramblings of Miz and Morrison. He asks Drew, who says MVP should know by now he doesn't need or want anyone's help. MVP is fine with that and tells Miz that Lashley will take that title from him, and that match will begin at 9 p.m. EST. Meaning 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Which was yesterday. Which was last night. MVP leaves, but out comes Sheamus, and McIntyre meets him on the ramp so they can start brawling. Now the referees try to pull them apart, but Drew clotheslines Sheamus over the barricade and gets back in the ring to wait for him. So we had a commercial break. Yes, folks, we had got a commercial break. So after the commercial break, we got Sheamus versus Drew McIntyre, which I thought was the best match on the show. Whether people like the way I'm saying it or not, I think it was the best match on the show. It had some potential to it. Even though it's not really a WrestleMania caliber match, but it's a pay-per-view kind of match to me. My opinion, it is. This match is. So, now the match gets underway, and Sheamus storms McIntyre, and they trade hands in the corner. Sheamus gets the better of Drew and beats him down until the referee pulls him back. Then McIntyre turns the tables and chops Sheamus down. McIntyre whips Sheamus to the ropes and catches him with a back elbow. Sheamus clubs Drew in the back. Then a short arm lariat before heading up top and landing a knee drop for a 1 count. Now Sheamus applies a submission, but McIntyre quickly fights free and slams Sheamus. McIntyre punches Sheamus around, then whips him hard to the corner. Sheamus trips Drew and stomps on his abdominal section a few times, and drops a knee on his head and targets the arm. McIntyre gets free and beats Sheamus over to the ropes, where he traps him. Yeah, folks, he trapped him. So he traps him and gives him a taste of his own medicine, basically. So he traps him, gives him a taste of his own medicine with the 10 beats of the Bodron. Sheamus slings McIntyre out of the ring, then punches him on the apron and looks for his own beats of the Bodron. But McIntyre elbows him away. So Sheamus then connects with a bro kick, but McIntyre falls from the apron And they go to commercial break. So, back live from commercial break. We're back live, and Sheamus is still in control and holding McIntyre down with a knee on his jaw. McIntyre powers up and punches Sheamus in the gut, but gets caught with a backbreaker for a 2 count. Sheamus stomps on Drew's back a few times and drops a knee on it. McIntyre rolls to the apron, and that's when Sheamus lands the beats of the Braun again. McIntyre crawls back in, and Sheamus laughs at him, so Drew slaps him. Sheamus slaps him back and whips him to the corner, but Drew bounces out with a clothesline. McIntyre catches Sheamus with a belly-to-belly, then looks for another, but Sheamus elbows him. Drew clotheslines Sheamus over the ropes to the floor, then climbs to the apron, and Sheamus trips him. So then Drew shoves Sheamus into the ring post, then hits a belly-to-belly suplex, and Sheamus lands right on the edge of the announce desk. McIntyre could have won by countout, but instead he went back out and suplexed Sheamus onto the announce desk. Drew puts the Irishman back in the ring and hits a flying axe handle for a 2 count. They both climb to their feet, and Sheamus hits Drew with a lariat. Sheamus pulls himself up to the top rope, but Drew kips up and headbutts him. McIntyre jumps up and hits a belly-to-belly to Sheamus for a near fall. So, it goes to commercial break again. We're back, and both men are just clubbing each other on their knees. They get up and chop each other, then Sheamus lifts Drew, but McIntyre rolls down and pins Sheamus for 2. McIntyre looks for another roll-up to no avail. Sheamus hits an Irish curse backbreaker for a near fall, then looks for a cloverleaf, but McIntyre rolls him up for 2. Drew connects with a future shot DDT for a near fall, and both men go to the opposite corners. Drew runs for a claymore, but Sheamus rolls to the apron. Drew grabs him, but Sheamus hits him and yanks him down on the top rope. Now Sheamus goes to the top rope and drags McIntyre up with him. They struggle on the top until McIntyre hits Sheamus with an Irish curse backbreaker. Drew can't believe that didn't do it. He lifts Sheamus and hooks the arms for another DT, and Sheamus counters and shoves him to the corner. Sheamus catches Drew as he tries to leap over him and hits him with an Alabama slam for a near fall. Sheamus goes to the corner and runs for a bro kick, but McIntyre catches him with a claymore, and that was it. So McIntyre continues to work on the high level, yet he may still not be out wrestling Sheamus. Now, the Celtic Warrior has been incredible these last few months. He can do no wrong in the ring, and it was clear that he wanted this more than anything. He and one of his absolute best friends got to fight one-on-one with full hatred between them. The heat in this contest was palpable. It was really, really great. The two brutalized each other, and the focus on the jaw work, allowing Sheamus to truly sadistic. The only real disappointment, folks, was that The two fought with no hype on Raw rather than waiting for a WWE Fastlane or even WrestleMania. The point of Sheamus turning should have been a major match rather than such a rushed shingle clash. That's what I think. That's my... After the match, Sheamus and McIntyre stare at each other. Drew looks saddened by the whole thing, while Sheamus just looks angry. It's only 15 minutes until The Miz defends his WWE Championship against Bobby Lashley, and we got Naomi dancing backstage. And runs into Nia Jax. They stare at each other. After the break, they would go one-on-one. I don't know why we got Nia Jax versus Naomi. What the fuck are they doing with the Raw Women's Division? The Raw Women's Division looks the absolute fucking worst. It really does. I really feel bad for the Raw talents that have not been used properly on TV. I really do. I really do feel bad for the Raw Women's superstars that have not been used correctly on TV. I feel like Bruce is wasting his time as executive director. He might as well just remove himself, man. Nobody likes him, man. Nobody wants him as executive director no more. He might as well fire himself. Either he needs to remove himself or Vince needs to fire him. Something. Because he's not doing something right. As far as writing and producing, he's not doing something right. He's not doing anything right as executive director, man. He's really not. So we got Naomi. We got Naomi with Lana at ringside versus Nia Jax with Shayna Baszler at ringside. This match was basically a squash match. It was meant to be a good squash match for Nia Jax, even though I wasn't interested in watching it because it was fucking boring as hell. So, the bell rings and Naomi runs and jumps to punch Nia, but gets shoved back and dropped with a body attack. Nia then slings Naomi across the ring by her hair. Nia grabs Naomi by the hair and screams at her. And then shoves her in the corner. Naomi kicks Nia, then hits a jawbreaker before clubbing at her. Nia connects with a couple of stiff elbows, then lifts Naomi for a bear hug. Naomi tries to wiggle free, but Nia clocks her with a double forearm to the head. Nia hits a Samoan drop, then talks trash to Lana. Jax lifts Naomi for a one-hand powerbomb and wins. Naomi took time away from WWE, folks, with serious potential upon her return. But she had the opportunity to truly take over a division in need of more top stars. When she came back to back up Lana, she at least had a chance to win the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. Now she and Lana look as out of their depth against the champion as the Riot Squad did. The tag team division needs serious contenders, man. This made the faces look like complete fucking jokes. I don't even know why the WWE Women's Tag Team titles even exist in the first place. Why were these titles even brought up? Why were these titles even brought up? You know what? Might as well have Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler drop the titles to Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. I think it would be best for the WWE Women's Tag Team titles to go to NXT instead of being burned. At first I thought maybe burn the titles, but you know what? I think they should go to NXT. Because there is a women's tag team division on NXT. Sorta. Kinda. And I think those titles would be good. Would look great on Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. And you know what? We could see a potential breakup between Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai once they drop those titles. I don't know who they're going to drop those titles to. Maybe Shotzi and Ember. Who knows? Could be. But losing to Nia Jax was definitely a problem to me. And I'm pretty sure it was a problem to the majority of the community. Now, it is losing so quickly without a match of a fight that ruins all of Naomi's momentum. But you gotta be honest, Naomi's better than this. WWE has put too much time into Lana's feud with Jax and Baszler to treat it like such a joke now. This is so lazy. I don't even know why they even come up with this Lana and Nia Jax feud anyway. It shouldn't even be on television. Nobody gives a shit about this fucking feud. Why is it on television, Bruce? Nobody cares. Seriously, man. Get it off of our televisions, man. Really. This is fucking embarrassing. This is embarrassing, man. Nobody in the IWC cares about this feud anymore. It needs to go to the fucking dumpster bag. It needs to go to a fucking garbage can or something. Nobody wants this feud anymore. We are done with it. We're tired of it. It's boring. Get it, leave it, take it, or fucking leave it, man. Seriously. Lashley MVP come to the ring for the WWE Championship match. The Miz makes Lashley wait, and it's a good couple minutes before the music hits. However, no Miz comes out. The camera cuts backstage, and Miz is doubled over, holding his stomach, with Morrison consoling. Pearce appears and asks what's going on, and Miz says he's cramping up. It's coming out of both ends. Pearce says Miz is the WWE champion, and he is obligated to defend the title. Lashley has heard enough, and he runs to the back. Miz continues to make his case for not being able to compete, that he needs more time. When Lashley grabs him by the throat and tells him they're having the match and he's going to beat his ass, Lashley walks off, and Pearce tells Miz he has until 10 p.m. and the match is happening. So Braun Strowman makes his way to the ring, and he does not look happy. Commercial break, and we got Braun Strowman in the ring. And he says WWE management has something against him. He says he was suspended for headbutting Adam Pearce. And then he was left out of the Elimination Chamber match. He watched the pay-per-view from his home, and it sucked without him. And now he's out here for a stupid tag team match that he only found out about 2 minutes ago. And he doesn't even know who his partner is. Braun says Pearce and Shane McMahon are running around with no idea what they're doing, and it's starting to really piss him off. Oh, really, Braun Strowman? Really? Shane and Pearce make their way down to the ring, and Shane tells Braun to relax. McMahon says they're not trying to make a fool out of him, but he has a clear inability to make his goals. Shane says he is angry and upset, and he's here to help him. He helps a lot of people, including himself. He's currently taking a course that includes a conflict management section that is obviously far above Braun's reading level. Will be WWE management. Shane says the only person Braun is conflict with is Adam Pearce. So that's his partner. And Pearce is shocked. Braun says that idea sucks, and just like the show sucks every week on television, which is why nobody watches Raw, which is why Raw loses a lot of viewers because of their writing and producing, and because of their bad 50-50 fucking booking. And because of Vince and Bruce, of course. But Braun, Shane tells Braun that if he and Pearce can win, they win the Raw Tag Team titles. Braun says that's fine, but if Pearce screws things up for him, he's gonna get his hands. Braun grabs Pearce by the labels and screams at him. So we got the Raw Tag Team Championship match. Man, this tag team match flipping sucked real bad. And I hope every single one of you picked up your remote and changed the channel. Really. I really do. This fucking tag match was absolutely bad. I don't know who the heck sits back and supports a tag team match like this. Who the heck asked for this tag team match to even be booked on last night's Raw? Who? Oh, of course, Adam Pearce. He wanted the match. Braun didn't. He wanted it. So we got Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin, 2 of the 4 members of the Hurt Business, versus Braun Strowman and Adam Pearce. Let me know in the comments below or in the chat what y'all thought of this match. So, the bell rings and Braun runs right over Cedric Alexander. Shelton Benjamin runs, but Braun does the same to him and clotheslines both of them out of the ring. Braun runs around the ring to bowl both of them over. Braun gets Alexander back in the ring and hits a lariat, then stands on him and stomps while Pearce looks tentative on the apron. Braun throws Cedric across the ring, then does it again. Braun runs at Cedric in the corner, but nobody's home, and he hits the ring post. Cedric drop kicks Braun and tags Shelton, who comes in to hit a Shining Wizard. They team up to better Strowman for a momentum, but Braun hits both and knocks Alexander from the ring, then hits Shelton with a running power slam he's about to cover, but Shane jumps on the apron and demands Braun tag Pearce. Braun reluctantly does it, but Pearce immediately gets rolled up and loses. And the Hurt Business wins. Needless to say, Braun is not happy after the match. Pearce hightails it, and Braun screams at Shane and tells him he will wreck the entire place before leaving. And that was it, folks. That was it for that match. Honestly, this was not good. This was one of the worst tag team matches on this show. It really was. Strowman continues to be booked with a singular mindset in the tag team division. He makes every tag team look like a joke. The Hurt Business has been so well protected to this point that Alexander and Benjamin could not lose when they were not working together well. Honestly, this made both look bad, and it showed why fans can rarely take the tag team division seriously. Just like I'm not taking the tag team division seriously. Just like everybody in the chat that's watching my review is not taking the tag team division seriously. Why should they? The fucking tag division looks fucking terrible. There's only 2 tag teams in that division. You got the Hurt Business and the New Day. The only 2 tag teams in the division, man. I don't blame them for not taking this division seriously, man. This division sucks. I mean, it fucking sucks real bad, man. Seriously. Now, this was all about building the awkward and unspringing feud of the monster versus the best in the world. Shane has had some surprisingly good matches with AJ Styles and Miz, but Braun is a step too far. This was way too far. This match has no spark to it. It is hard to tell who is supposed to be face in this rivalry. It really was. Now, Elias and Jason Ryker approached Damian Priest and Bad Bunny backstage. Elias says they have a lot of mutual respect, and he has a big opportunity for Bad Bunny. Elias says only a few know what it's like to sit on top of the music mountain, and he knows no tears of joy when they hear it. Elias says he'll have his people call their people. Okay. Bunny speaks Spanish to Priest, and he relays the decline to Elias, and he just stares at Bunny. Reluctantly stares at him. Commercial break. Elias is in the ring after the commercial break with Jason Ryker, and he is unhappy about the disrespect he and his music have been shown. So he needs to remind everyone, especially Bad Bunny, that WWE stands for Walk with Elias. Now that's coming from Elias, not from me. He starts playing music, but Bad Bunny's music hits, and out comes Bad Bunny, followed by Damian Priest. So we got Damian Priest and Bad Bunny at ringside versus Elias with Jason Ryker. Then anybody asked for this match to be on the show? I'm just wondering. I'm just asking. Why did we need a Damian Priest versus Elias? We know Elias is god awful in the ring, and Damian Priest is way better in the ring. Man, I was just hoping this match would be done and over with. Please, give Damian Priest the win. Just let Elias ultimately suffer the loss, because he sucks. So, the match gets underway, and they lock up, with Priest forcing Elias to the corner and holding him there for a minute. Elias takes the wrist and yanks the arm a few times, but Priest turns the tables on him. Elias steps through the ropes to break the hold. Elias gets back inside, but Priest takes him down with a chin lock. Elias fights up and punches Damian back, but eats a kick to the face. Priest connects with a spinning back elbow, followed by a spinning heel kick, and Elias rolls from the ring. Elias talks trash to Bad Bunny instead of getting back in the ring. So then, we're back live from commercial break. Elias has Priest in a headlock. Damian shots him off, but gets dropped with a shoulder. Then Elias hits the ropes and leapfrogs him before catching him with an arm drag. Priest drills Elias with some knees, but the musician fires back with a kick and looks for a leaping knee, but gets caught with another arm drag. Elias cheap shots Priest, then peppers him with right hands in the corner. Elias kicks Pearce in the face, then drags him under the bottom rope and slams his face over and over. Elias hits a running knee and gets Priest back in the ring for a 2 count. Priest tries to pull himself up the ropes by Ryker, punches him, and Elias gets a near fall. Elias takes a headlock on Priest and holds him down. Priest powers his way out and flings Elias over his head, then connects with an uppercut. Priest lands a slew of punches and kicks, then drops Elias with a lariat. Priest hits a running elbow in the corner and lands a Falcon Arrow for a near fall. Ryker gets on the apron and causes a distraction, so Elias rolls him up for 2. Priest jumps off the ropes, but gets caught with a knee in midair. Elias ducks a kick, looks for a drift away, but Priest counters. Elias runs him into the buckles and drills his back with forearms. Elias lifts him up for an electric chair, but Priest slides down the back and hits the Reckoning for the win. And that's it. Now, this was an absolute slug. Priest and Elias are both individually talented. However, they have zero chemistry. Zero. This contest moved from armbar to headlock for a long stretch. Even the momentum ramped up. Nothing felt remotely tense. Now, it was so clear that Elias would not win. I was hoping he didn't win anyway. He's fucking terrible in the ring. He has lost almost all of his momentum as a potential threat on Raw. Ryker's inclusion has made him less interesting rather than more. Priest at least won, which was the result that was needed. He is still undefeated, and it feels like the Archer of Infinity is ready to go straight to the top after Bunny has gotten his one big match. So that's that, folks. So, commercial break. Caleb Braxton interviews Randy Orton backstage and asked about the events unfolding around him with The Fiend, including last week when he coughed up a black liquid. Orton says he doesn't know what the hell has been happening, but he does know Alexa had a role to play. Orton says that unless Alexa wants to end like The Fiend, unless she wants to end up like The Fiend, he suggests she move on with her life. He will show her no compassion. Alexa appears on the screen behind Orton, holding a little jack in the box. She says there's something Orton should know, and the lights flicker off. We see a hooded figure walk into the dark room and take his hood down, and it's Randy Orton. He speaks, but it's not his voice, and he says, "Randy, this doesn't end on your terms. Soon you will come face to face with everything you've ever done." The real Orton watches on and starts coughing up the black liquid again. So the Miz asks for the microphone for the match, and he begs for logic. Miz says Bobby has waited 17 years for this moment, and he needs to do it at Mania, not here. Miz tries to make his case and asks MVP, who says it's happening right now. So, for some reason, we got Miz versus Bobby Lashley. We got Miz with John Morrison versus Bobby Lashley with MVP for the WWE Championship. We got it 2 times on the show. Why was there 2 WWE Championship matches on the show? Not to mention they were the same WWE matches that we saw. This didn't make sense. Title match got underway, and Miz immediately rolls outside, grabs his title, and springs away. Miz runs backstage, and Lashley watches on in honor. The Miz is counted out. Lashley wins by count out. Lashley, Miz, and MVP are furious and can't believe it. They stomp backstage, and MVP tells Lashley it's not his night. Lashley and MVP are backstage with Shane McMahon, and he tries to calm them down. He says the Miz pulled a fast one on them, but he promises there will be a title match tonight. MVP shouts, "This is bullshit." Shane says he will consider stripping Miz from the WWE Championship. But Lashley says he'd rather find Miz and beat the piss out of him. And they march off. Charlotte comes to the ring. She says the last few weeks have been an emotional roller coaster. She says she came back to Raw and found herself teaming with Asuka, who she respects the hell out of, and she had no desire to be in the title picture. And she got tangled up in a lot of crap with Lacey Evans and her dad. Now she's here 6 weeks away from WrestleMania, and Bianca Belair has chosen Sasha Banks. Asuka has no challenger for WrestleMania, and she decides it should be her. She wants the Raw Women's Championship. But no, Asuka is injured. We see a replay of Shayna kicking Asuka's tooth out. Charlotte says she knows Asuka better than anyone, and she'll be back stronger than ever. When that day comes, she'll be waiting. So, Shayna Baszler comes out with Nia Jax, and Baszler says Charlotte is talking about herself. What else is new? She says Charlotte calls herself the Queen, but she's fighting an uphill battle as an army of one. Baszler says Nia and her are the 2 most dominant forces in WWE, and this won't be a normal road to WrestleMania. Baszler says she needs help, but Nia says nobody likes Flair, and the power dynamic has shifted. There'll be one of them challenging Asuka at WrestleMania. Flair says she's right. Nobody likes her because she is the best. Baszler gets in the ring, and Charlotte hits her. Then Baszler and Nia team up to maul Charlotte, and Nia lands a leg drop. So we got a commercial break again. That's like 5-6 commercial breaks that Monday Night Raw got. That goes to show you it is a 3-hour fucking show. So it's a 3-hour episode every Monday nights. So we got Charlotte Flair versus Shayna Baszler. Of course, the WWE Women's Tag Team Champion. And folks, you can tell I'm tired by the way I'm talking. Feels like I'm talking in my sleep, but I'm not. Trying not to. But if you're enjoying this review right now, please hit that like button. I really appreciate it. Only to the ones that's supporting me, that actually cares about my channel. So anyways, Charlotte Flair versus Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. Back live, this match is underway with Baszler battering Charlotte in the corner. Baszler hits a gut-wrench slam for a 2 count. Baszler starts some joint manipulation, and we see Naomi and Lana watching from backstage. Charlotte fights up and drops Baszler, then beats her into the corner and chops her silly. So once she chops her silly, Baszler hits an exploder before stomping Shayna repeatedly. Or should I say, Charlotte hits an exploder before stomping Shayna repeatedly. Charlotte wants to figure four, but gets kicked out of the ring. Jax runs at Flair, but ends up hitting the steel steps. Charlotte flings Baszler off and hits natural selection for the win. And that was it. Honestly, my reaction to this, my thoughts, my answer to this, honestly, Charlotte and Baszler are good together, but this was too short. The result also took away from the action in the ring. The idea of these two having a full match where the Queen of Spades could wear down Charlotte throughout is intensing, but may never happen. Now somehow, despite all the work done to build up Jax and Baszler, Charlotte is still seen as a much higher priority. In the same night, the irresistible force squashed Naomi. The Queen of Spades lost decisively and too quickly to Charlotte. Shayna Baszler continues to get buried and wasted and used improperly on the roster. She continues to get buried. It's not good. It's not good. She, Matt Riddle, Keith Lee, along with all the other NXT talents, continue to get wasted and buried for absolutely no reason. Bruce Prichard, don't forget, Bruce Prichard buries NXT talent to Vince. That's what Bruce said, remember? His dumbass. Oh my goodness, man. Wow. So Shane McMahon is backstage and he says they need to tell them that if The Miz doesn't show up for the main event, he'll be stripped of the title and it will be given to Lashley. So we got Riddle at Lucha House Party versus Retribution. I honestly don't know why. So the bell rings and Riddle runs at T-Bar, only to get him with a chokeslam for a 2 count. T-Bar tags Slapjack and he beats Riddle into the corner and tosses him before tagging Mice, who hits Sidewalk Slam for a 2 count. T-Bar tags in and hits a backbreaker and bends Riddle over his knee. T-Bar wants the choke slam again, but Riddle hits him. Then Mice tags in, and Riddle sends him over the ropes. Riddle tags Lance Dorado before leaping over the ropes onto Mice. Dorado runs over Slapjack and drop kicks T-Bar off the apron. The Luchas team up to splash Slapjack and score the win. And just like that, Retribution gets wasted once again. They don't give a shit whatsoever. You can't convince Bruce and Vince to care about anything because they're never going to care. That's simple. Especially when it comes to WWE. Now Mustafa Ali gets in the ring and he's not happy. He berates his minions again. Riddle gets on the apron to get his title, but Mustafa talks trash to him and challenges him to a match. So we got Mustafa Ali versus Matt Riddle. Why did we get this match? I don't know. Because that's what Mustafa Ali wanted, I guess. Typical Bruce creative trash. This is typical Bruce creative trash right here, folks. And oh man, they always make up matches at the last minute on every Raw episode. They kill me with this shit. Why wasn't this match booked to begin with? Why didn't you have to put Retribution in a tag match against Riddle and Lucha House Party? Why? Let alone, why would you put Matt Riddle in another fucking match? Why would you put Matt Riddle in a second match when he just had his first match? That makes no sense. Oh my goodness. It really doesn't. I thought you said Matt Riddle deserved to be a fighting champion, Bruce. If he's a fighting champion, why are you booking him in 2 matches? He should only be booked in 1 match, not 2. The hell? The fuck is wrong with you, dude? Jesus Christ. Get a fucking brain. Anyways, the bell rings and they lock up and go to the mat for some intricate wrestling and grappling. Riddle rolls him up for 2 and Ali leaves the ring in frustration. He gets back inside and Riddle knocks him to the corner. All fires back with a kick, then kicks the arm and drops a few knees on it. Ali wrenches the arm, then whips Riddle's chest first, and he whips Riddle's chest first into the buckles before hitting a neckbreaker. Riddle counters Ali with a rear naked chin lock, but Ali turns it into a pinfall for only 2. Riddle unloads a flurry of punches and kicks before landing a Pele kick and flipping to his feet. Riddle hits a running forearm, then another, and an exploder. Riddle runs for the PK, but misses and hits a senton. Then the PK for a near fall. Riddle hits the ripcord knee and heads to the top rope, but Slapjack gets on the apron and distracts the referee. Then Ali hits Riddle from behind and butches whatever move he attempted to score the win. Why would you go and book Matt Riddle to win? Why would you go from having Matt Riddle to win to ultimately having Matt Riddle lose in the second match? It makes no sense. It makes no sense whatsoever, man. It really doesn't. That was just absolutely just not. It was just totally unfair, man. I really feel bad for Matt Riddle. I really do. That was just totally unfair right there. That was a bunch of fucking BS. It really was. Honestly, the story was better than the action, which was badly rushed over 2 matches. But Matt Riddle being booked in 2 matches made no sense. He should have been only booked for 1 match, not 2 matches. But that's Bruce and Vince. That's them. They do what they want because they're in power. They think it's all about the power. Because it's best for business. What's best for business is merging those tag team divisions and building new stars. That's what needs to be best for business. And bettering these Raw and SmackDown shows every week. Shows suck every week. Better these shows. Write better shows, Bruce. But anyway, seriously, the story here was better than the action, which was badly rushed into 2 matches, from the surprise finish of the 6-man tag early to the ugly finish of the single match that followed. It was clear, folks, that no one was quite comfortable with the time they had. However, he was a rushing success of storytelling where Ali was able to get Retribution to work together to benefit him, even when they could not win on their own. Now, he leads by example by taking advantage of them more than he ever helps them. Hopefully, this means that Retribution is falling apart. I'm hoping it means it does. I'm hoping it means they do separate, because they are just not good as a stable at this point right now. Vince and Bruce are just continuously wasting them and burying them on TV. I think it's time for them to get separated. Seriously. Now, and plus, nothing's working for Retribution right now, man. They're not getting their wins. They're not getting their way. It's not been good for them. I don't even know why they would come up with that stable name anyway to begin with. So the Miz comes in, Shane and Pearce's room. He comes into Shane Pearce's room and says he had a match. He defended his title against Lashley and did what he had to win. Shane says they might be able to find out. Commercial break. Shane comes out and says he did think of a way to make this match fair. So here come the Lumberjacks. Man, I'm telling you, social media was trending when Bobby Lashley became the new WWE champion last night. Social media was trending like wildfire. Social media was so... A lot of people in the community, in the IWC community, were happy that Bobby Lashley took the title from Miz. They were happy that Miz dropped the title to Bobby Lashley. Oh my God.